Hello, my name is Laura Tellez, and I'm the South Florida Program Coordinator for Solar United Neighbors. I'm going to be telling you a little bit about our organization and some about rooftop solar. Know that we have lots of different resources, and I'll share with your instructor some of that information and upcoming events so that if you're interested, you can dig deeper into this topic. I also wanted to share that we have a solar co-op open in Miami right now, and anybody can join. It's free to join and no obligation to go solar, and it closes on October 15th. So we are a nonprofit, and we're a community of people building a new energy system with rooftop solar at the cornerstone. We help people go solar, join together, and fight for energy rights. We started with our two middle school founders, Walter and Diego. They saw an inconvenient truth, were really inspired, wanted to go solar. And so Annie Schoolman, Walter's mom, encouraged them to work together and reach out to other neighbors and see if maybe they could get a group together and get a better deal. That's how the Mount Pleasant Solar Co-op was started back in 2007. Fast forward to today, now we're in 12 different states. Our headquarters are in DC, and Florida is our brightest and shiniest program. We've done over 54 community co-ops since 2016 in the state. And more locally in Miami-Dade County, we've done 10 co-ops, helped 107 homeowners go solar, which has resulted in 3.8 million of economic investment, creating 99 jobs, 1.7 megawatts of clean energy, and over 26,000 metric tons of carbon lifetime offset by solar. So solar is not only good for the environment, but it also saves you money, good for the local economy, creates jobs. In our model, we have our co-op membership. When we get a group of people together, it's a group process, 50 to 100 neighbors getting together. They select a single installer. There's a bulk discounted pricing available to co-op members. Each homeowner signs their individual contract, and a co-op member gets a free 1-year membership. Sometimes we also have individual membership for those of you that might be outside a co-op area or the timeline might be different. And so we provide some technical support. We help to review 3 proposals. You can negotiate your own deal, has a faster timeline, and you can access our ongoing advice and assistance, and it's an $85 membership. And like I said, we're like nationally, so this is accessible to anybody in the US. So now let's talk about technology. So solar PV converts solar energy to electricity. On the left, you can see a module, which is basically a frame with glass, silicon cells, usually 60 to 72 cells. And then on the right, you can see a solar array, which is basically various modules all together. A really important component is the inverters. The inverters make a conversion from direct current, which is what your panels produce, to alternating current, or AC, which is what your home uses. So on the left, you can see a string inverter, which makes that conversion on a centralized place. This is a good option if you have a simple installation or if you don't have shading on your system. On your right, you can see a microinverter. The microinverters make the conversion at the panel level, and this is a good option if you have shading in some of your some of your arrays, or if maybe at certain times during the day you have some shading. And then in the middle, the string inverter with DC optimizers. It's a hybrid between the 2 technologies. Some important terminology you might hear about is kilowatts, and that's how your system is measured. So if you look at the picture, each watt is 250 watts. If you have 4 panels, that's 1 kilowatt. And then you multiply that by 3, you get 3 kilowatts, or 3,000 watts. Electricity production is measured in kilowatt hours, which you might be familiar from looking at your electric bill. And nationally, we see that most people install between 2 to 12 kilowatt systems. However, in Florida, we have a high electric use because of our electric use, and many people might have pools with pumps and different things. So we tend to be on that higher range. Your panels are connected to your roof through a racking system, and then the panels are mounted into that racking system. They can be installed in many different types of roofs. The connection from your solar to your electrical panel is very simple. It's automatic. You don't have to turn anything on and off. Most homes don't need to upgrade their systems before going solar. If someone needs an upgrade, it's usually because they're in an older home or they're installing a really big system. It's very unusual and not very expensive. Another question we get a lot is what makes a good roof for solar. And so a roof that's facing south is ideal. However, east and west is also suitable because of all of the technology advances we're seeing. We don't recommend a northern facing roof just because your production is going to be very low. Shading or limited shade also ideal. That might come from neighboring trees or neighboring properties, and making sure you have enough space to mount the panels. We usually look at least 200 square feet for our solar co-ops. And you can use higher efficiency panels if you want to maximize, if you don't have a lot of space on your roof. Now, putting all of these together, you have the sun shining on your panels, creating electricity that goes to your inverter, where it's converted from DC to AC. Then it goes to your electric panel. From there, it goes to power any loads you might have in your home, so any appliances that you're using. If you have any excess electricity, it goes through your utility meter into the grid, and your neighbors can use your excess electricity. And then at night, or whenever you're using more than you're producing, then you're able to use electricity from the grid through something called net metering. Right now in Florida, it's a 1-to-1 credit, and those credits can be rolled over until the end of the year, when any excess at the end of the year, December 31st, that you haven't used, you get credited at a wholesale rate. So it makes sense for you to size your system for what you're using. If you're sizing it bigger, you're not really going to make any money because you're not getting a retail rate but a wholesale rate. So what that looks like on your electric bill is that you have the amount of electricity that you use from the grid minus the amount of electricity you exported into the grid, and that's your electric bill. Batteries. So this is something that's really important. Many people are not familiar, and it's that when the power goes out, unless you have batteries, your solar shuts off automatically, and that is a safety mechanism to protect any utility workers that are working on that outage. So if you want to have power when the power goes out, you need to install batteries on your home. Really quickly, solar economics. Solar is priced by the watt, not by the panel, and it's a long-term investment. There are no moving parts, and it has at least a 25-year lifespan. So many of the warranties are 25 years, so a very long-term investment. It depends on your average residential utility rate that will determine your return on investment, and also that over time, energy prices are rising. If you look at this graph here, you can see from 2010 to now how much the average national price has gone down, and then this is our average price in a solar co-op, our national average. So it's even lower. That's because we can decrease our soft costs. And I know I didn't have a lot of time, and I tried to cover as much as I could in just a few minutes. But I wanted to share our email address. So if you have any questions, it's flteam@solarunitedneighbors.org, which you can see there. We also have lots of resources on solarunitedneighbors.org, and we have lots of great events coming up in October. So in October, we have National Solar Congress and a National Solar Tour. So I encourage you all to join us. If you go to solarunitedneighbors.org/membership, you can sign up to be on our newsletter. Thank you so much for your time listening. I hope you learned something new, and reach out if you have any questions. Thank you so much.